Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of Town of Petawawa Council and Committee for July 14, 2025 to order. Send a warm welcome to members of council, staff, Mr. Nyman, who is in the audience, and anybody else who's joining us together today. YouTube. That's it. Okay. So we'll start with our land acknowledgement. I'd like to call on Councillor Donovan, please.
Gideon, Deputy Mayor. As we gather this evening, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of the Petawawa Town Council and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Omami Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Omami people and express our respect and support for their rich history, and we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years, and we wish to acknowledge our shared responsibilities in responding to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission 94 calls to action. Calls to action number 61. We call upon church parties to the settlement agreement in collaboration with survivors and representatives of Aboriginal organizations to establish permanent funding to Aboriginal people. Recent progress. The church parties to the settlement agreement are responsible for the response to call to action number 61.
Thank you, Councillor Donovan. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest on any of the matters before us this evening? Having seen none, we'll now go to the Fire and Emergency Services Activity Report for June of 2025. I'd call upon Chief Crew, please. Guide us through your report.
Any members of council, my report for June. Starting with the acting chief's comments. On the 2nd, the acting deputy fire chief attended mental health support for public safety grant information session. On the 18th and 19th, we conducted interviews for a part-time assistant for the fire department. On the 20th, extreme heat notice was issued to the community via our social media and the cooling spots that we had in the town. The 23rd, the fire department assisted the Civic Center staff with a splash pad. The 24th, attended an environmental briefing with the province. And the 26th, there was a mandatory meeting for all department staff, and we were able to get the grant in for the mental health support on the 26th as well. On the 27th, the county fire paging system was down, but we weren't affected due to our telepager, and the system was back up that afternoon. On the 30th, we received a letter explaining that we were in compliance with for the emergency management. For incidents, we had a vehicle fire on Privy Road. There's a truck and a camper. Crews responded to. We had a major motor vehicle collision on Highway 17 on June 4th. We had a smell of smoke to the residents in a business here in Petawawa on June 12th and June 20th. We had a water rescue on June 15th, but it ended up there was a course being done on the Petawawa, and the caller thought that there was somebody in distress. And we responded to a call on Island View Drive where we rescued a patient from the in behind Station 2 point, or sorry, at the catwalk. On Island View Drive, we had a patient that was in distress swimming. But when we arrived, the patient was in the care of paramedics. Carbon monoxide, we had 2 on the 11th and the 18th. One was due to a faulty detector, and the other one was the no CO alarm was sounding. For Butler, we had a fire alarm on June 14th due to cooking. We had another one on the 29th due to equipment malfunction. And we had one on the 29th again, possibly due to the barbecue. Hydro lines down on the 17th and the 25th, where the crews attended. We had a bonfire complaint on the 26th. For training, our platoons conducted swiftwater rescue training, refresher training on the 10th, 12th, 19th, and 30th. And then the specialty training where we did boat training out in Black Bay. So June 6th, 7th, 8th, and the 23rd, we had 16 personnel conducted the technician level for swiftwater rescue training with Boreal Rescue Company that came in and helped with the training, a lot of the newer staff. For maintenance, we had some minor repairs to some vehicles, air brakes to replacing wiper blades and coolant hose replacement. And then we had the generator replaced or repaired, an extension cord repaired, buildings, as well as a garage door repaired. And then we had some minor equipment repairs with our self-contained breathing apparatus, and then one portable pump. For fire prevention for the month, we had 24 inspections. And for public relations, we were busy with going to schools for fun fairs, and we had 2 fire hall visits where we had some of the students come in and see the fire halls. For administration, the chief fire inspector met with some tenants regarding smoking safety, and did a presentation on June 19th for realtors. On June 16th, the chief fire inspector met with local emergency services for the Ottawa Valley Stomp event. For CO detectors and smoke alarms, we did 58 homes. It brings us to 144. And for June, the smoke alarms and the renewals, we started with 946 and we ended with 965. And that's my report for June.
Thank you, Acting Chief Crew, and very busy month for you guys.
Was very busy, yeah.
Okay, I'll turn it over to members of committee. Donovan.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Just a quick one, Craig, if you're able to provide us with any information around that mental health support for public safety personnel grant application?
So it's a grant that's coming out from the fire marshals, and we're looking at the money to go to the warrior support. It's a new organization that's just come out, and we're hoping, and there's some of the support's free for emergency services in Ontario. So we're going to be looking at partnering with them, and then there's a cost to other services that they provide. So we're hoping that that grant money can go towards them. So it's something for our staff to be able to use if they require it. So.
Thank you. And then you had mentioned the water rescue training course. Is that a formal certification that you're working for?
Yes, so we have till 2028 to get our staff trained to the technician level for specialty rescues, and that's one of them. So we brought a company in that follows the standard that we operate to. So we did a lot of the newer members, and then some of our instructors were on that course as well. So
yeah. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, having seen none, could I ask for a motion to accept the Fire and Emergency Services Department's monthly report for June 2025? Councillor Roots and seconded by Councillor Carmody. All in favor? Thank you, is carried. Thank you, Chief Crew. Okay, now we're on to our next report from Recreation, Culture, Tourism Department. On the report for June of 2025. I'll ask Colin Coyle to come forward and guide us through the report, please.
Mayor and Council, here with the monthly report information for June. Following up to last month's report with the accessible feature training down at the point that has now exceeded 100,000 views between our social media. And that's not the great part. The great part is I've been receiving between myself and other staff requests for training for people of all ages. Currently, our youngest is 6. That is driving in, I believe, from Belleville. We also have other families coming in local. Kingston, Ottawa use the accessible features. So I think that it's great that we got the 100,000 views, but I think having people using that those features is even better. Much to the appreciation of many parents, our camps have started. So many of the staff are on their toes right now, and even driving around for meetings today, I've seen campers coming out of the trails on off Victoria, in the facilities over at Nunbenki. So it's great to see that we're able to offer that many programming. On the 24th to the 26th, we sent our VIC tourism ambassador for training through the OBTA. So it was a couple of days of familiarization with not just what is in Petawawa, but right across the whole valley, so that we can sort of share the wealth with all the other VICs that are located across the valley. As far as meetings, part of the Seniors Advisory Committee, we have a very active committee that's making a lot of progress. So there'll be more reports coming on that soon with some of the new initiatives that will be moving forward with that committee. Had the opportunity to meet with Laurentian Valley at Hughley's. This will be an extension of another water and dirt event. It's I haven't put the name, but it's like an active kids obstacle course race through Hughley's. So it's a great partnership with a local business and another partnership with a local municipality. We've had meetings with the SPCA, RCHED, with furthering those are both taking place events for water and dirt that are here in Petawawa, so to expand on what we're doing now already. I had the opportunity to meet with Ted and the executive for the tennis ball and pickleball club to move forward on some plans for working with the executive, new partnerships, and new opportunities to move forward with that club to expand what was already in place in the master plan. The suggestions in the master plan had recommended not only 2 to 3 years from now, 4 and 6 years from now, and it's already happening in less than 1 year. So it's great to see some of that moving forward. As you can see from the second part of the information, we've had extensive programming in children, adults, active, and senior programming. We continue to see increase in numbers and consistent programming going forward in all the age groups. As far as events for the month of June, we had a really successful Civic Center Days. There was $13,000 generated from having and hosting the mid. We have very little to do with it. It is well attended from the community, and as you can see, generated $13,000, which offsets most of Civic Center Days. So it's a great partnership with the Midway. You can also see from the Craft Beer Festival, just over $15,000 was generated. 50% of that goes back to the fundraising committee. And the great part of that is there's very limited amount of work for fundraising. I think we're able to achieve that with only having 3 volunteers this year overseeing that. So that's a win-win for the various parties, and we're able to showcase the various craft breweries across the Ottawa Valley. As far as the facility report, you can see we are consistent from year to year with the amount of field use, with the amount of diamond use. I think that if anyone has passed by the Civic Center or any other parks, they are being well used in the evenings and the weekends. So we hope to see plans for future growth in all those areas. And as far as upcoming and additional information, we had a successful Canada Day as per usual. That event is always well received by the community. So hot dogs and cakes were free and people come in droves. The Civic Center was host to this Oldie Stomp event from the 27th to the 29th. And then I will invite council, if they are interested, to participate in any of the activities coming up in August. I know you will be receiving a formal invitation to the doggy paddle, as I think council has participated in that in years past as part of the team relay. So we'll expect a formal invite from the SPCA. And last but not least, I'm currently working on the Recreation Strategic Action Plan. What this will do is sort of quickly outline the Recreation Master Plan and the executive summary from what was collectively about 400 pages down to about 40 pages. I've gone through the first stage of it, sitting down with the Recreation, Culture and Tourism staff, as I believe great that we can bring forward or have brought forward all these recommendations, but I want to bring the team together to find solutions and ideas to how we can achieve some of those things over the next 10 years. Once that's completed, I'm hoping by September I will have a presentation for the council with adoption. And that is the information for June.
Great, thank you, Colin. Very busy department as well. Just before I turn it over to the committee, How many spaces total are there in the summer, like on a weekly basis for camps? Just, you know, probably-
Roughly just over 100
wow.
per camp. We could offer more. There is demand for more. One of the camps, due to its nature, we have them roaming to town. So today, as I was saying, as I saw them on bike, they're going from activity space to activity space. So they'll use our local parks, they'll use the beach, because we have limited resources for buildings. We're coming up with the best alternatives to still offer camp space, still have the opportunity for parents to have that. It's just for the older kids, so I don't think we could do that with their tots. But we are looking at alternatives for next year. It's just it's a long process.
Absolutely, very innovative. Yes, we definitely don't want to be covered in the box.
Not that far across.
Okay, so I'll turn it over to member of the committee, Councillor Campbell.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Severin. So it sounds like everything is coming together for water and dirt. Numbers are looking good and all the events are falling into place, and we're just ready to pull the trigger on that one.
Yeah, we keep on adding. We just released the Black Day ATV event. Much to my shock, it was posted and I had 3 people sign up right away. Most events, everyone's last minute, they're waiting for the weather report, they're waiting for this, they're waiting for that. So to see the numbers we're seeing now, and the numbers we've seen in the past, it has become a true tourism initiative for us as we're seeing people come from the States in Toronto and Montreal and Ottawa. So I know when talking to the hoteliers, we've seen boats and bikes and on-route cars. I remember last year getting grief from Starbucks because I didn't give them enough warning, so they didn't have enough staff to accommodate the people coming in. So it's not guesstimates and stats. We're seeing actual return from businesses on what they're receiving from the community.
Thank you.
Any other members? Councillor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Sabrin. How was the Ottawa Valley Stop? I didn't get to make that. I ended up working all weekend, but is there a lot of people showed up? Or how were the numbers?
I don't know what the final numbers were, as it was just a rental for us. I've heard say there was a few hundred on the Friday night and then a few hundred more on the Saturday night. So I don't know if it was the numbers they were anticipating. I haven't had any further communication with the organizers. But I'm just waiting to hear. There has been a request, but I imagine they're moving on to other events now because it is their sort of summertime events now.
And then just one with the Civic Center grounds. I was driving by today, I see some kids on the bike park. I see that centerpiece is still fenced off.
Yes.
When is that? When we look at that?
That would be a question for Ted.
Okay.
I know we have the materials. It's getting in there that Ted will be able to answer the question.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions? Councillor Couture.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Sabri. Less a question, more a comment. Unfortunately, you weren't here last week during our councillor reports when we all were talking about what an amazing Canada Day event it was. The staff truly outdid themselves, and to see them handle the crowds, everything flowing amazingly, but also Civic Center Days. Just wanted to give that praise to the staff, that everything going smoothly, and to see the numbers, what that means for the town to have those partnerships in place. So thank you, I guess, for your leadership, certainly, but also to the staff at the day camps. So my kids are users of the camp, and besides, giving us a break, these are enriching camps. They're not just throw them in a room, keep them safe until 5. These are camps where kids are learning skills, going out, exploring the town. These are camps that kids are happy to go to. So as far as expanding the camps, it's so great to hear, and I'm sure we're going to keep that same quality and innovation and experience. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Great feedback. My only comment, in addition to what everybody else said, is just going back to Canada Day. I have to say that the hot dog group between the staff and the members of council on a well-oiled machine. I think those same people need to be doing it again next year. People just don't feel like nobody's business. So it's excellent. So thank you. Okay, there are no more questions. Having seen none, I'm going to ask for a motion to accept the Recreation, Culture and Tourism monthly report for June 2025. Moved by Councillor Donovan, seconded by Councillor Couture. I shall slow down. All in favor? It is carried that the Recreation, Culture and Tourism monthly activity report be accepted as information. in favor. And again, it's scary. I forgot to do that last time, and I'd like to thank the clerk for not screaming it out at me. Appreciate that. Okay, and now we're on to the Planning and Development Monthly Report for June. Melanie has already arrived in the chair. Thank you so much. Welcome. If you could guide us through the report, please.
All right, so just a couple of things to point out in the report. Planning applications, so we update the chart every month. You'll see in green, we completed a couple more applications last month or since the last report. We are experiencing a bit of lull in applications, which is good because it's allowing us to do some policy and bylaw updates, but a lot of consultations. So what you don't see in the report is the number of calls, emails, in-person Teams meetings that we're having with residents and developers talking about development potential. So what you see in this report is just the actual application. So I just wanted to point out that there is a lot of consultation going on. We're just experiencing a bit of lull in the actual applications. Hopefully they don't all come in at once. So Appendix A is the active planning applications. Appendix B is the building permit stats for June. So June of this year, we're about 10% higher in the number of permits than June last year. The value of the building permits, the value of the construction, everything is higher than June of last year. Generally, every year we issue about 300 permits. So we see at the end of June, we're sitting right on track, about 156. So we're trending number of permits 2 other years. Building permit values and building permit fees, we're not quite half to our usual kind of annual stats, but we anticipate a busy second half with the Radke subdivision to be conveyable very shortly. So we'll see a pickup in permits at that time and some other commercial development. As far as the other section of the report, again, pointing out these are beyond normal development activities. So normal for us is meeting with all these people, talking about development potential. I listed a few meetings and training that we participated in. Wanted to point out as of June 9th, we have Raj Ali as a new senior planner with the town. So we're back up to our full complement of staff. And then I just wanted to point out too that we're working on the backyard chicken bylaw updates. So that will be coming for council in August. Property standards, clean yards, our goal is to have it next Monday before you to discuss. And we're also working on a short-term rental policies and conditions as well. So lots going on in policy updates as well as keeping the applications flowing.
Thank you, Melanie. Seems like a theme here, very busy as well. So, okay, are there any questions or comments from members of the committee? Councillor Driscoll.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Thank you for hitting on the backyard chicken ones. I was going to ask you when that is going to send back to our council. And then my question was on the short-term rental policy. Is there anything that you can kind of know now, like what way we're trending? Are we looking at people having to get licenses for it, enforcement, things like that?
Yeah, so currently we don't have anything in zoning. It's different from backyard chickens where we're just updating and kind of strengthening. There's nothing for short-term rentals. But in our municipal scan, most people do have some kind of registration process.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions? Having seen none, just a couple of comments. Radke subdivision is really moving along. They're very busy, very active, very loud. They walk me down Doran roads and right there, but that's good to see. Just a quick question. Have we seen any more contacts from developers after the announcement that the Garrison Commander made about having that number of new military personnel coming? Are we seeing much uptake on?
So there's still a lot of inquiries about building apartment buildings in Petawawa from local plus non-local Ottawa market developers. It's just we haven't seen any applications yet, but there's definitely lots of interest. We do share that information and wherever we get an opportunity to share it.
Thank you. Just with respect to Highland Park Apartment, it says that the site plan has been finalized with the proponent to register. Is that normally a lengthy process?
So the Highland Park Apartments, we checked in with the developer a few months ago now. And they were just looking at the rising sort of construction costs and just deciding kind of how to move forward with those. So the town has done what the town needs to do. It's just up to the developer now to decide to move forward.
Thank you, Melanie. Okay. No last minute? Okay. I'm going to ask for a motion to accept the planning and development monthly report for June of 2025. Mover, Councillor Root, seconded by Councillor Coutu. That the planning and development monthly report be accepted as information. All in favor? It is carried. Thank you, Melanie. Okay, now we're on to the economic development monthly report for June of 2025. Christina's made her way up as well. Thank you so much. Welcome. If you want to guide us through your report, please.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor and Council members. Reporting from the ExDev. Work continues in the industrial park on the available lands and resuming some communications on that opportunity. Certainly in the month of June it started and it's ramped up in the month of July. So the report in the month of July and subsequent meetings with council will have further details on that. Community improvement plan, we did close the file for Len Hopkins Drive. So there's a beautiful new sign for Airborne Petawawa up and ready, and was ready for the skydiving day that just recently happened. We are meeting with additional businesses on CIP opportunities and some further follow-up from the BRE presentation that made, so positive results moving forward. There's been lots of inquiries on for pre-planning or planning for different business opportunities. On a sad news, we did learn that Milano's Pizza did decide to close their operations a little bit earlier than we had initially anticipated hearing that announcement. But it was formalized in a communication between myself and the former owner on June 10th. There is a plan for the property, we understand. We're just waiting for further engagement with the property owner. One of the big files in the month of June and moving forward is the new management team for the Victoria Plaza. So we have had a number of meetings, and one is again planned for tomorrow with the new management team and providing them support in seeking tenancy for the property. The sales process is dependent on achieving a certain level of engagement, and so we are very proactively supporting that particular opportunity to see how we can move that yardstick forward. In communications and marketing, obviously we are continuing our e-news posts, and the ones for June did go out. Ongoing engagement through Shop Petawawa, the Petawawa Container Market. We are now putting out Petawawa Ramble opportunities. I know it's not till October, but in order to do our publications and get ourselves sorted, we have to have the work done in the month of August for that particular piece. So we're working very hard on that. We have been working with the legislative services team, specifically Kate Bennett, on the website, and so we've had some engagements with Calumet Media quite frequently in the month of June as we ramp up, trying to firm up some of the website look and feel, so the departments can enter their data. Our ongoing in business with URTV, filming with URTV, the portal and the country cupboard, and the country cupboard is now live, so it's available for viewing, and we've posted it. In terms of partner engagements, there was the Upper Ottawa Valley Chamber of Commerce AGM that I attended, the Renfrew County Community Futures Development Corporation AGM. Also participated in the Local Immigration Partnership Strategic Plan with Eric Lockhart. And then there was an ORED Meet Partners in-person meeting, as well on June the 26th. And as always, the department does Starter Company Plus. So there was 14 business plans to review in preparation for the pitches. So I did do some of that work at the end of June. Of course, some members of council were present at the BRNE Business Connect event where we did present the findings of our BRNE engagements as part of a public report. The full report is anticipated to come before council in the month of August. There was a follow-up survey that we released to the participants of that BRNE session, and then open to the public to respond to. So we're just waiting to compile that piece of information to add it to the program details. So council can expect that in the month of August. Lots of ongoing and daily engagements about the container market. Vendors are booking in on a regular basis for that opportunity. We have a book swap event that's happening this weekend. It seems to be very popular, and our Christmas thrift event is going on July the 25th. We also did host the Entrepreneur for Change Market with the local schools on June the 20th, which was a resounding success. In other activities, again, ongoing meetings, and we did meet with, I did meet with senior staff, Colin and Ted, to review some initial concepts on wayfinding that were given to us by Syntax. I've had further engagements and documentation with Syntax, and today I just received a version of the wayfinding, which we will then present to the branding committee. So we're continuing to move those yardsticks forward. Just a couple of quick notes. Perhaps you saw as you drove to the Silver Threads Center today, Community Center today, that across the way there is a new business in the property that was Full Spectrum Beer. There's now a water depot service. It's a competitor to a Culligan water service. They had their soft opening today, so a grand opening will be coming forward at some point when the proprietor is open, but they were granted occupancy and are now open for servicing the residents of the town of Petawawa. July 16th, so this Wednesday, is Tim Hortons Camp Day as an opportunity. And then August the 15th will be our youth market in collaboration with the entrepreneurship camp that runs through the community services department. And that's all I have for now.
Thank you, Christine. Yes, very busy. Thank you. Council and committee members, any questions of the report? Councilor Roots, please.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Christine, thank you. I want to say, yes, very, very busy. I know that. But I really am impressed, and I'm very happy with your and Rudy's engagement promoting businesses, helping those individuals in our town succeed, guiding them along and providing that, just that positive approach and being there for them. It's a big step for some of these people in a difficult business atmosphere today. So I'm hearing the comments coming back. These people are very, very happy with the services you're providing. So really good work. Pass on to Rudy. I like the communications, even on the radio, to shop local. Rudy was on my FM. That's just a little plug also for my FM. But but having that, telling the community, you know, our military troops are away. There's a big deployment, but just to shop local more than ever, and in Redwood County, very, very important. But I really like that, and it really sets us up for success. So good work. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Roots. Any other questions? Councilor Kitts.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I just wanted to mention I was lucky enough to go to the June 20th Entrepreneur for Change Market, and I wasn't prepared for what was there. Just all of these students with their amazing ideas for, you know, inventions or goods or what have it. And it was, I just kept going back and forth to the cash, to the kids in the cash, and just knowing that all of this was again going to the OFPCA for a good cause, and just seeing that spark there of that entrepreneurial spirit, that community mindedness. So I can't wait to go again next year, but for you and your staff, it was a lot to organize when you zoom out, but it was completely managed chaos. So, you know, props to the department for such an incredible event for our students and our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Kitts. Any further questions? Having seen none, I'll ask for a motion to accept the EC Dev, monthly report for June by Councillor Carmody and seconded by Councillor Driscoll. That the economic development monthly report be accepted as information. All in favor? It is carried. Thank you. Thank you, Christine, and welcome Chris Mantle from Public Works. Monthly report for June.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Severin, members of council. All right, monthly report for June. Lots to cover. Under civic properties to start. Public Works office expansion, just about complete. Today we had our backup generator commissioned, so that step is done. We have some security upgrades being done in the building this week. A couple of cameras and a security pad for the new addition. And then we have some fencing work to do. So I have had some discussions with CEO Colin about having council come out soon for a grand opening tour and photo shoot, hopefully. So we'll be communicating that fairly soon. So exciting news. We're almost there. Under town hall renovation. No one's throwing anything, so that's good. Good start. I was looking for staplers around the table, but we experienced some delays right from the outset. So a couple of things happened. We had some issues with the construction drawings. Hats off to the planning and development building department. They did a good job in identifying those issues. We then forwarded those drawings onto a third party to have them reviewed, which was a wise move. It showed some issues with the drawings, which we've since had corrected. We also had our lead proponent at Bell & Associates leave the employment at that office, so we had to replace midstream. But to be honest, I'm actually really happy with the change. The young man, Marco Lanny is his name. He stepped in for the person who left, and by all accounts, I think he's doing a really, really good job at picking up what was some stumbling blocks, to be honest. I wasn't happy at all with the way things commenced with that project, but we are back on track and work is set to begin this week. So thank you for your patience and thanks for being okay with being out of your regular council changes a little bit early. I do apologize for that. Under Civic Center parking lot improvements, we had our kickoff meeting at Public Works in our new boardroom on June 27th. Ted Marcotte, myself, along with representatives JWK and JP2G. We had a site meeting on July 9th where we furthered our discussions on the pickleball court concepts. And we're ready to start construction on July 21st. So that project is moving ahead nicely. Under building condition assessment, the data exchange that I noted in the last point, that is complete. We provided Roth IAMs with all the information they require, so that level of effort is done, and we're just waiting for the final report now. Under water and sewer projects, the Pinehurst Estates is awarded, and we're just waiting to commence construction in the fall for water tower rehabilitation on Water Tower Road. We had an original closing of July 8th, and we've extended that closing until tomorrow at 2 p.m. So we'll hopefully get some good results on that bid. Grid tank number 2, as you know, that project has closed and we'll be scheduling kickoff meeting as soon as possible. Disinfection byproduct study is ongoing. Under road reconstruction projects, Murphy Road is now in the warranty period. Norman Street in and out. Some updates there. So we have a meeting on July 17th, Melanie Shear and I at Blair Jones' office, where we're trying to correct a private encroachment issue that we have with the existing road, which would affect the new road. So we're hoping to clear that up and then get that project back on track and get it moving, because we really are losing out on our prime construction time here. So that's definitely one that we want to reboot and get moving on. Black Bay Road and Eichstätt Road, I can chat more about that later with the report that's before you. Nothing on the PXOs. Under operations, there's some really great work being done by Public Works staff, Eddie Suko's got the guys, really rolling along. We're doing lots of culvert installs, which is tough. We're a small staff, so it's hard to cobble together a group big enough to do some of that work, but I think we did 3 or 4 in the month of June, as well as completing the off-road vehicle signage. Cleanup on North Street, just some excellent work. Planters were put out. We also put up the 40-kilometer-an-hour signs on the gravel portion of Brant's Road. So good work. 150 locates done in the month of June. So very, very busy month. Lots on social media. And then under procurement, we procured about $2.8 million worth of works to date. I wanted to point that out and direct some thanks to Dawn for her help in the past 2 years, especially in the field of procurement. It's a small department, so to be able to put out that much work and follow our procurement policy and make sure we're doing everything properly and in a transparent way to the public, I think it reflects well on our department, and we're doing a very large amount of work, and that number is going to go up by probably around another $1 million once we have the water tower rehab project put in there. Nothing too big in civic properties other than we've pretty much figured out the issues that we have with the splash pad, and we have it running. That's the main thing. There's still some repair works to do. And as Councillor Driscoll mentioned, I think we have one more feature in the bike park to work on. That's not complete yet. And then under water and sanitary, nothing really too big to point out there, but I did want to show the capital projects. Under water, there's been $162,872 worth of capital upgrade work done so far this year in the water department. And then under sewage, $213,700 of capital upgrades to be done at the sewage plant. So we've set a really high bar for what was expected this year for the department and also for our aqua contract. And I think we're really seeing some great work being done. I wanted more done this year than last year, and that's what's happening. So I'm happy to report on that. I think we're seeing some great work, and our work order completion rate is pretty good. So I'm watching that closely, and that's my monthly report for June. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Chris. Yes, lots and lots going on in the department for sure, and it's great that $2.8 million has been awarded. It certainly is a lot of work, and it's a lot of various types of work. So much needed, especially as we continue to grow here in the town.
Sure.
Turn it over to members of the committee. Are there any questions? For Councillor Carmody, please.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Thanks for the report, Chris, and thanks for getting the off-road vehicle signage all done and complete. And I know it's early days yet, but any feedback on how things are going? Or?
I haven't heard anything, Councillor Carmody, so no news is good news.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Just one more. Councillor Coutu, please.
Just to say, I think you're right. Like, so much work has been done, but I feel like I see public works employees everywhere. Anywhere I go in town, there's something happening with all of the cutting, culverting and such. But just to say, I'm really looking forward to the building condition assessment report. I know that you don't have your report yet, but is there anything you can tell us off of that?
No update, Lisa. It should be soon. I don't want to surprise anyone.
All right, I'll wait. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Coutu. Any other questions? Okay, so just, Chris, I'm very much looking forward to the Public Works building tour. I did not take advantage of the opportunities as it was under construction, so I'm going to be prepared to be wowed. And just want to circle back to the pickleball
Sure.
Courts, up to 4 courts. Are we getting a little bit closer to determining whether it's 3 or 4?
Right now, the meeting that Ted Marcotte, myself, Colin Coyle, and Brandon Harkins from JPCG had, we settled on 3. The reason 4 courts was difficult was for 2 reasons. We would either lose quite a few parking spaces, or we would encroach into the community garden, or if we went the other way with the course, we would have to take out that tree line, in behind at the back of the civic center that kind of keeps the residential property separated from the civic center. I really don't think that would be a popular move to take those trees down to accommodate a bigger footprint for the pickleball court. So right now we are still looking at 3. We did have some discussions with regards to tournament play, and Colin Coyle felt that we still have the ability to multi-use the tennis courts. So if there was a tournament, we can still have the 3 dedicated pickleball courts that we're building, along with we have 2 tennis courts that are able to support 4 more pickleball courts, because you can fit 2 pickleball courts on 1 tennis court. So we're confident we can still host a tournament. We would just have to utilize some of the tennis courts to allow for more pickleball playing fields.
And the discussions we had with the tennis court and how it did.
As far as I know, yes.
Thank you.
If I may, through you, the Deputy Mayor Saab, I've requested Colin Hoyle to have he's going to be meeting with the pickleball executive, so I've asked him to give them an update on what the proposal plan is and make sure they're okay with the 3, because I know they were really pushing for 4. So I'll know more once that meeting is done. That's supposed to take place this week.
Great, thank you. And for sure, I don't think taking out the tree line is a good idea. I would agree with that. If we don't want too many lights shining into people's okay, excellent. Having seen no more questions, I'd like to ask for a motion to accept the Public Works monthly report for June of 2025. As information, Councillor Donovan and seconded by Councillor Driscoll, that the Public Works monthly report be accepted as information. All in favor? It is carried. Thank you. Now on to very exciting stuff. We're now on to the Public Works -21-2025 Black Bay Road rehabilitation from Highway 17 to 1417 Black Bay Road, the Milky Quarry.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Right, so I promised council that I would come back with a report to better explain the project, better give council a better understanding of how this all came about, because in the budget it was line item was Black Bay Road Heart and Shoulders. Well, that's kind of hard to understand. So I promised and I delivered to have the report, and thankfully it's tonight because the construction is set for this week. So there was a lot of I was typing hard last week. So yeah. Anyways, in 2019, H&H Construction and the Corporation of the Town of Petawawa entered into a road improvement and maintenance agreement adopted by bylaw 1265-19. And H&H was to improve 3 segments of Black Bay Road as per the agreement. The segments were from the highway to Summers Road to Eichstead, and Eichstead Road to the entrance. And there were various maintenance tasks that they were to do as part of the agreement, and there was an estimated value applied to that agreement. So in late summer 2023, when I became Director of Public Works, this project had kind of been sitting in limbo, I guess, for a time. So I did reach out to H&H to inquire when the agreement would be initiated and the road improvements completed. But at the same time, when I looked at what was proposed in the maintenance agreement, I saw an opportunity, because sometimes delays actually work in your favor. I saw an opportunity to look at a bigger project here, a better project. Because really what the agreement had called for was simply overlays and expanding the lane width from 3.25 to 3.5, but still maintaining granular shoulders. There was no base repair, so no strengthening of the road bed. It was simply overlaying what's there. So I began having some preliminary looks at what it would cost to enter into a joint venture to expand upon the requirements that were laid out in Schedule B of the road maintenance agreement. And what I looked at was possibly pulverizing the existing roadway, which when you pulverize an existing roadway, you essentially break up the asphalt concrete that's on the surface.
and you mix it in with the existing granular that's in the road bed, which strengthens your road bed. Then we were looking at adding some fresh granular to reshape, widen the platform, and of course to provide a consistent road bed prior to paving. And then on top of that, we were looking at paving 2 lifts of asphalt rather than just an overlay. So we're looking at 2 50-millimeter lifts of pavement, which provides much stronger road bed for truck traffic, and as well paved shoulders, which makes the road safer for trucks, safer for drivers, safer for walkers, bikers. And also the added benefit of that is, of course, when you have hardened shoulders, you're cutting down on maintenance costs. You don't have as many washouts. It's a better build of road. So the sale of H&H Construction, BEI Excavating in the spring of 2024 provided a fresh opportunity for our department to discuss this and move forward in a joint project. So throughout 2024, the town and BEI discussed this project and agreed that a joint project working together would result in a much improved finished product and a safer roadway for all users. Further meetings were held in 2025 in anticipation of the upcoming construction season. The last meeting that I had with BEI, we had the numbers worked out, we had the plan, we had the budget approved, but there was still something bothering me, and that was, I was comfortable with the numbers, but I wanted someone else to look at it. I wanted a third party to give an endorsement of what we were planning, make sure that I wasn't missing anything. And that's where BEI agreed. They were very supportive. They thought it was a great idea to have JP2G look at the proposed job and the cost sharing agreement to make sure, is what's being proposed worthwhile? Is it a good use of taxpayers' money, or am I not picking up on something? So we had JP2G look at the agreement, and the letter from JP2G is included in your report. And it, of course, basically backed up what we were saying. The quantities noted are accurate. The unit rates noted are reasonable. Pricing is good. The cost share split is appropriate given the differences noted above, the terms and the agreement and the scope of work being undertaken by each party. And the most important thing was the last sentence or last paragraph. We feel that the money being spent by the town to undertake a complete rehabilitation of the road is well spent, in that it will more than double the service life of the road as compared to simply completing a surface overlay as contemplated in BEI's 2019 agreement. So the intention tonight to bring this to you was simply an information item, but also to better explain how we came to where we are today and the excitement about this project. So it is going to kick off this week. There's also a separate project in Eichstead Road, which was tendered as a separate project, but BEI was the successful bidder of that job as well. So not only are we rehabilitating 3.2 kilometers of Black Bay Road, there's also 900 meters of Eichstead Road. So you're looking at around 4 kilometers of road upgrade for a really good price. So that's essentially what I wanted to do tonight, was just provide council with a better understanding of how we got to this position. And we're ready to go to construction. So looking forward to it. Willing to take any questions.
Any questions from members of the committee? Councilor Carmody.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. So Chris, when you say it's going to double the expected life expectancy of the road, is that like 7 years to 14, or what would?
Councillor Carmody, I would think that an overlay, your service life is usually around 10 years. So with what we're proposing, I'm hoping it's more the tune of 20. But of course, with the way we're constructing the road with the 2 lifts, you're also looking at options for perpetual pavement, which is down the road, instead of having to reconstruct the whole road, you can simply grind off one lift and repave a lift. So you're also, not only are you extending the road life by what we're proposing, but your next investment in the road rehabilitation is a lighter scope.
And that kind of got me thinking about the life expectancy of roads, and road network in general. And we used to always talk about this pavement condition index that we had, and it was a number, and, you know, you'd do a certain amount of work and the number would go up a little bit, or else somebody would make a proposal that we had to spend several $1 million more than we had available to bump that index from 7.2 to 7.5 or something. Have we kind of abandoned the use of that PCI?
I think Councillor Carmody, the way I look at pavement condition index and studies that provide a PCI, it's a tool. And you have to look at it as being, it's a computerized algorithm. I'm more of an old school type because I come from a heavy maintenance background. I'm still of the mind that you have to get out and view your road network, and you have to look at I don't want to rely on a computer to tell me exactly what I need to do next year. I would much rather rely on my own instincts as a certified road sweeper and also that of my staff. I have a supervisor who's a certified road sweeper. Teddy Succo is becoming a road sweeper. And that's really where you get your best info. We do have a 10-year capital infrastructure study that's being completed right now by J2G, and that will provide us with a new road network rating similar to a PCI. But again, I look at it as a tool. Yes, I will be coming back to council with a request based on that 10-year capital infrastructure plan where I'm going to ask council for a certain amount of money each year, but I'm not tying it to a PCI.
Okay, so in the past, we would hire a company from Southern Ontario that would drive the network of roads in Petawawa with a car that had multiple cameras, and you know that it was taking images of the road surface and the sidewalks and all sorts of things around the road and generating these giant reports. So we're not doing that anymore, or are we doing some variation of that? Or?
Looking at a variation. We had looked at the cost to do another street scan this year, and at $65,000, I didn't feel it was a good use of taxpayers' money, especially because we're doing the 10-year capital infrastructure study this year. We're going to have the results of that study this year, so there really wasn't a need to bring in another company to do a scan of the roads again.
Cool. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for the question. Councillor Briscoe.
Just to attach on to that, I like the way you're doing it better because you guys are on the road every single day, and I don't think we need to pay consultants all the time to come in and tell our people how to do their job, and you have the expertise in it. So yeah, I'm not too concerned about the number because I can drive on the road and you can see whether or not it needs to be replaced. And then just the other thing, I'm looking forward to getting this road done too, because I know it's a very popular route for road bikers, and not having that paved shoulder to attach to Grant's Road paved shoulder now, especially with the Eichstead, it's gonna be very popular. So I'm excited for that portion, but I'm looking forward to getting it done.
Thank you. Councillor Couture.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Just to say, Chris, I really appreciate your due diligence, and thank you very much for all the information that you provided in the reports. Reading the P2G's letter, like I read your report first, of course, and it just crystallized everything. What a great project this is, what a great partnership. So thank you for all the work you've done to put this forward.
Thank you. Any other? Yes, definitely a great partnership. Nice when business and the town work cooperative together.
For sure.
I also would just like to acknowledge the increase of the safety for both our pedestrian and cycling folks. That's really good news. That's a tough road in that section, and so it's really good to see. So that's what we're doing. CAO is receiving this report for information.
Right.
That's all I have to say. Thank you kindly. Thank you, Chris. Okay, and now we'll go on to the next item, which is PW-22-2025 do-all construction. Request for tonnage increase from the current limit of 60,000 tons to 180,000 tons per year at 9 and Pit and Quarry located on Blackbird Road. Chris, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. See how they segue together. It's all planned. So yes, we have three options. Staff have provided council with three options. Maybe before we get to the options, we'll just go through a little bit of background. There is quite a lot of history with regards to this report, and some of the council members may not be familiar as they are quite new. So in 2004 and 2005, the town of Petawawa and Do All Construction Limited came to a settlement surrounding the Nyman Pit, located on Black Bay Road, just west of Melody Trail. The quarry was approved for a maximum annual extraction limit of 60,000 ton. The main conditions of this settlement stated that access had to be to Black Bay Road, Summers Road was not to be used, and that the tonnage would be limited to 60,000 ton per year due to the condition of the haul routes. In February of 2011, Do All Construction requested an increase in annual tonnage from 60,000 to 200,000 ton for a 3-year period. Do All qualified this request by citing several large local construction projects that required more material from the Nyman Pit in order for him to bid on these projects. In April of 2011, Town CAO Mitch Stillman brought a report to council outlining this request and provided background information of the Nyman Pit. Any tonnage increase requires written approval of the town and the Ministry of Natural Resources. A recommendation was put forth to council to approve a tonnage increase of 50,000 ton for an annual tonnage limit of 110,000 ton. The request was denied by council unanimously. In October of 2011, council reviewed a second request for a tonnage increase from 60,000 ton to 150,000 ton for the year 2012, and this request was also denied. And you have several attachments along with this report to provide a little bit more background on that. Under discussion, the Public Works Department was approached by Mr. Nyman in April of 2025 to facilitate preliminary discussions surrounding a request for tonnage increase, and subsequently council received correspondence from Do All Construction on June 9th, 2025, requesting a tonnage increase from the current limit of 60,000 tons to 180,000 tons per year. As part of this request, Do All contracted Novatech in 2021 to complete a traffic impact study. The study was based on a tonnage increase from 60,000 to 300,000 tons, and the study concluded that the additional traffic volume generated by the expanded pit is not anticipated to have a significant impact on the roadway capacity, even if the maximum annual extraction of 300,000 ton is reached. The study also recommended a geotechnical review to confirm road strengthening requirements. Do All Construction is requesting a tonnage increase from 60,000 ton annually to 180,000 ton. Attached to the letter requesting the tonnage increase, Mr. Nyman included a spreadsheet showing annual tonnage extracted from the Nyman Pit for 2009-2024. The only year that the tonnage limit was exceeded was in 2012. Mr. Nyman does not anticipate exceeding current tonnage limits, but as stated in his letter, the tonnage increase provides his business with opportunities to bid on larger projects and allows his business to compete with other pits and quarries that have higher tonnage limits in the area. The Public Works Department does not see a need for a geotechnical review. Because we are in the process of completing the road rehabilitation float project on Black Bay Road through the road maintenance agreement with Bonashare Excavating. And I outlined how we were looking at doing the road works, which in essence strengthens the road bed and nullifies the need for a geotechnical review. So there's 1.5 kilometers of Black Bay Road from the BEI quarry entrance to the Nyman Pit entrance that is not being rehabilitated in the 2025 Black Bay Road Rehabilitation Project. This segment of Black Bay Road is in fair condition since it was rehabilitated in 2007-2008. Public Works Department would recommend a 40mm overlay with paved shoulders, along with paving the small gravel portion of Black Bay Road between Melody Trail and the Nyman Pit entrance. This project could be planned in 2025 and executed in 2026, based on an acceptable road improvement agreement between the town and Do All Construction. This agreement would be subject to approval of the tonnage increase from 60,000 to 180,000 ton. Under financial implication, if council elected to go with option 3, the Public Works Department would budget appropriate funds for 2026 to ensure that any road improvement agreement includes paved shoulders. Thus, this project would mimic what we're doing on the rest of Black Bay Road. It would all have the same cross section. The estimated cost to overlay the 1.5 kilometer portion of Black Bay Road is approximately $185,000 based on 2025 unit rates. And this estimate includes tap coat of the existing roadway, paving, driveway tie-in restoration, mailbox relocation if required, and shoulder. That's essentially the report in a nutshell, and I'm happy to take questions on it.
Okay, members of committee, any questions? Councilor Disco.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Just when you say like, so I'm just trying to picture this here. When you say a tack coat, is that just like a tire you spray down and then add another layer on, like in that existing asphalt that's already there? If it's staying, does it have this like the strength to last another X amount of years?
Good question. So because it's that last section of road, so from the Melky Pit entrance to the entrance to the Nyman Pit, it's probably the section of Black Bay Road that has the least amount of traffic from a trucking and also just residential use standpoint. That road does have 2 lifts of pavement on it currently, whereas the rest of Black Bay Road is a single lift, and that's why you're seeing large sections of the shoulder of the road breaking away. So when I say tack coat, what that essentially does is it's almost like a bonding agent. So when you put an overlay down, it adheres to the existing lip. It helps with reflective cracking and helps the longevity of the road.
Okay. Perfect. Good for it. Off the top of your head, what's the tonnage for the DEI pit?
So the tonnage for the DEI pit currently is 250,000, and once the roadwork agreement is completed, it increases to 450,000 total.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions from committee? Councilor Carmody.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. So the original 60,000 was based on the condition of the entire haul out, so then the whole length of it. So now we're just considering the 1.5 kilometer stretch from the entrance of the pit to the current DEI pit. So it seems to me there's got to be a direct correlation between the quality of the road upgrade to the increase in tonnage. So to go to 180 with what you just described, is that you feel that's a significant enough upgrade to handle 180,000?
I believe it is, for a few reasons. First off, I'm quite confident that Mr. Nyman is not going to be coming anywhere near 180,000 ton extraction limit. The traffic study that was completed actually approved 300,000 tons. So Mr. Nyman is asking for 180,000. His history of tonnage use is not showing him reaching that limit. I think what he's looking for is the ability to bid on jobs. So I'm not concerned about every year having an annual extraction of 180,000 ton on that roadway. But to answer your question, yes, I'm convinced that putting an overlay on top of a 2-lift road is more than adequate. That section of Black Bay Road is not showing the same stresses that the other sections are showing. There's limited wheel rutting. Pavement is relatively in fair. It's rated as fair condition in our PCI studies that we spoke about. So yes, I'm confident that by adding another lift, you have 3 lifts. So that would be, you would essentially, if they were all 40 mil lifts, you would have 120 mils of asphalt on that road. We are actually only proposing 100 mil for the other sections of Black Bay Road. So it would actually have more pavement.
Okay, one other question. Thank you for that answer. For the agreement that DEI has with the town with respect to the road upgrades, the increase in tonnage in that, was that written into the agreement?
Yes.
Okay. So there would be something similar written into a similar agreement for a dual.
Correct. the acceptance of the tonnage increase would be dependent upon a mutually acceptable road maintenance agreement that's signed and put into a bylaw similar to what was done for H&H and then purchased through the sale of H&H for DEI.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, before I proceed, CAR may need to guide me through this. We've got three options. Do you want me to read all of the options?
I would read all three and ask for a motion of the first one, see if that one passes or get consensus and work your way down.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Chris, for very thorough history. I appreciate that, even though sitting around this table, a lot of time has passed, so good to know all the pieces. Okay, I'm going to ask for a motion to accept the report. Option number 1 is that council approves the tonnage increase requested in correspondence dated June the 9th of 2025. Do I have a motion? Having seen none, I'll go on to option number 2. That council denies the request for tonnage increase as requested in correspondence dated June 9th, 2025 and maintains status quo. Are you prepared to make that motion? Okay, now we'll go on to option number 3. That council authorizes staff to negotiate a new road improvement maintenance agreement with Dual Construction to improve the 1,500 meters of roadway from the DEI Milky Pit entrance to the entrance of the Nyman Pit, and that any tonnage increase would be approved based upon acceptance of this new agreement. Anyone's motion? Councillor Bristol and seconded by Councillor Roots. Are there any questions, comments? I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It is carried. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chris, very much. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Oh, now we're on finance, which is always exciting. Numbers. Paula Turcotte is coming to present her report. Welcome, Paula.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Sabrin and council members. I'm presenting the June 2025 expenditure report. The check numbers 5,555 to 5,776, totaling a whopping $5,712,764.46 to be approved by council. Starting in 2025, staff reverted to report council with a list of checks issued for the month. A high-level summary of the checks issued in June 2025 are: number of vendors paid were 178. Total dollar amount of checks issued, again, $5,712,564.46. The average dollar value per check issued is $25,848.71. The average dollar per invoice issued is $8,982.02. And the number of vendors that were paid over 100,000 were 8. So the vendors paid over 100,000. First up was the County of Renfrew for the 2025 second quarter tax bills levy. Then it was the school board, $711,454.54 for the second 2025 tax bill levy. Then we have wage general contracting. They were $285,797.12. That covered the Public Works Addition progress payments 9 and 10, the Comfort Station holdback release, as well as a flagpole readjustment. Then we have Ontario Clean Water Agency for $260,681.80. That covers our water and sewer service contract monthly payment, our net zero project, as well as our reduction drinking water and sanitary reduction project of $10,815.28. Miller Waste Systems, $225,645.24. That is our bulky fibers, leaf, organics, and recycling waste collection for May. The Receiver General for Canada, $197,519.42. There are weekly remittances.
for CPP, EI, and income tax. Then we have another second quarter tilt and levy for 2025 for the Renfrew County Catholic District School Board for $178,748.30. Finally, we have JP2G Consultants for $112,398.46. They have numerous invoices paid, some for the Murphy Road Contract Administration, 10-year capital plan, Civic Center parking lot upgrade, the wastewater treatment plant grid tank relining, the water tower refurbishment, Pinehurst Estate sanitary sewer, Public Works garage design, Wolf Avenue construction, Portage Road reconstruction phase 2, and Renfrew Street pumping station expansion. So to a total of $5,003.55.88 for the top 8. So our checks have already been processed and issued. This is to ensure council is informed of the expenses incurred for the month reported. Do I have any questions?
Thank you, Paula. Any questions from members of the committee? Having seen that, it was very thorough, so thank you very much. And I'd like to request a motion to accept the fin report of June 2025 expenditure report. Motion by Councillor Roots and seconded by Councillor Carmody, that check numbers 5555 to 5776 totaling $5,712,764.46 be approved by council. I'll call for the vote. It is carried. Thank you, Paula.
Thank you.
Now we're on to legislative services. So I'm going to ask our CAO to present this report. Please, Paula.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Sabrin. Through you and to council, before you is the Legislative Services Monthly Report for June. Before I briefly highlight a few key points, I just want to bring to council's attention that you'll probably see some slight changes with the monthly report going forward. There's been a team effort here between Dawn, myself, and Kate trying to put the reports together. And so I think going forward, like I might move out the HR stuff and I'll report on that and the IT stuff, but obviously the bylaw and things will still remain in the report. So good to see some slight changes as we go ahead in the next coming months. Under animal control, just highlight there was 3 was the lucky number for the month of June. There was 3 stray cats missing and all retrieved to the OSPCA. We had 3 dogs running at large and we had 3 excessive dog barking complaints. So 3 was a hot number that month. Under bylaw enforcement for parking, we had 1 infraction issued in the month of June for parking on or over sidewalks, and we had 7 warnings issued. Turning over to June the 18th, under bylaw enforcement, staff have received a complaint regarding parking and access issues to the Petawawa Point, more specifically related to the boat launch. A resident reported difficulty turning around the next thing when he was launching his boat due to the vehicles that were parked in an unauthorized manner. So the issue typically arises at peak time, and we had the public works staff go down and take a look, and we've increased the signage at this location, and we've also increased the patrols of our commissioner officers. Under garbage, we had 3 written warnings issued in the month. Victoria, Seamus, and Albert. The issues for the non-compliant with the large bulk items. Turning over to HR on page 4, a number of meetings were held in the month of June regarding staffing. We had some changes in terms of our recruitment. We have recruited for 7 interviews for canteen staff, 1 hired and 1 on the way. We had, as Greg, the acting chief said earlier, today was the first day of Taylor Newlove's position starting at the town for our new fire assistant. And we also filled, as Director of Planning said earlier, our senior planner was filled, Raj. So that's great news. For council's attention, we did post the Director of Finance Treasurer position, and that is up until the next Friday, the end of next Friday. Under information technology, we had 20 tickets resolved in the last month. And we've had a number of meetings in regards to the website, and I will say we are going to have the nicest website of any council or any municipality in Renfrew County. I just saw the latest version of it, and kudos to Christine Mitchell and Kate for kind of taking over the lead, because I've had my hands in too many things, so I had to bow out or something. But it's a website that I haven't seen. Like, we've added a couple features to it, and it's bar none. Like, there's no municipality that has what we're gonna have as some of the drop down menus. So it's gonna be really, really nice to see when I'm aiming for, I think, September roll out. Under Commissioner votes, we had 26 requests for the month. We had a couple that were denied due to estate records and trust documents, which we don't do. Under marriage licenses, we had 1 license issued in the month of June. And for our community flag request, we had the pride flag, as council is aware, that flown from June 1st to the 15th. And then we had National Indigenous Peoples Day flag flown from the 16th to the 30th. I won't highlight all the meetings and the posts that we've done. Staff or council can see them there, but I'd be happy to take any questions should council have any.
Thank you, Colin. And, yes, good that you're delegating.
Well,
Capable and competent people. So
It's
that's
been
excellent.
pretty hectic. I got kudos to both Dawn and Kate, because we're all trying to juggle a lot of things right now. But yeah, we're getting it done.
Absolutely. Thank you. Any questions of the report from them? Oh, sorry, Councillor Coutu.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Just a comment, just a thank you to the responsiveness of the staff when the EDI committee came up with the Men's Mental Health Awareness Day initiative. It was really great to have it on the website, to have it on social media, to have it shared with staff. So when you mentioned a new website, I'm really excited about the possibilities for more resident engagement, advertising more programs, et cetera. But a big thank you definitely to the staff who are so great at connecting our residents with that information.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Colin. Okay, well, I'll ask for a motion to accept the legislative services June 2025 monthly report. Councillor Donovan and seconded by Councillor Coutu. All in favor? It is carried. Thank you. And that the legislative services monthly activity report be accepted as information. Now it is carried. Thank you. I might get this right soon. Okay, I see that under general matters, is there anything to report? Nothing to report. We don't have a closed meeting this evening. So now we're on to the saddest part of the evening, which is the adjournment. I know, but that's okay. Could I have a motion to adjourn? Mayor, Councillor Driscoll, and seconded by Councillor Roots, that the meeting be adjourned at 7:52 p.m. All in favor? It is carried. We are officially done. Thank you kindly, everybody.